difference, one cup at a time. Tea time. So be sure to grab your tea, grab a seat, and tune in to Miss Liz. Tea time. Making a difference, one cup at a time. Tea time, yeah. Tea time.
Well, welcome, guys. It is Miss Liz, and yes, it is the last tea time of 5 seasons, 5 years. That's right. I have two beautiful Canadian ladies in the house with me today. I have Gwendolyn, Jasmine, and I have Alisha Rose. I hope I'm saying it right. If not, I'll get her to say it. I've been practicing in the back with Gwendolyn, and I hope I'm saying it right. But today I want everybody to sit back and enjoy this last cup of tea. But there's also 400 other cups of teas that I want you to check out on Miss Liz's YouTube channel. So before we get started, we're going to get you over to Miss Liz's YouTube channel. We're going to get you to ring that little doorbell, get notified, because Miss Liz might have some surprises in 2025. Who knows? That might pop up from time to time. You just never know. I want everyone to know that I appreciate each and every one of you for the last 5 years and 5 seasons. So let's get started. Let's get this last tea time on the road. And then on December 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the reunion show where over 50 plus guests are coming back from all different seasons. So you'll get to connect and get to meet all the different flavors and topics and individuals that Miss Liz had over the years as well. And get to see what kind of flow we serve when we serve a different type of tea. When we don't serve the beverage, we serve storytelling and words. So let me give you the disclaimer for the last time of 5 years, and then we're going to give you a little bit of bio on these two incredible ladies. And then we're going to spill some tea. And today's tea is transforming experiences artistically. That's the tea that these two ladies are bringing to the table. So get ready and grab your tea, grab your coffee, grab your glass of wine, whatever you feel like drinking. You do not need to drink tea with Tea Time with Miss Liz. Disclaimer for Miss Liz's Tea Time live show. Miss Liz myself is going live using StreamYard. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name at StreamYard.com. Please be advised that the content brought forward for any Tea Time show hosted by myself, Miss Liz, is always brought forward in good faith. However, may bring forth dialogues and opinions that are not representative of my platform. The facts and information are perceived to be accurate at the given time of airing. All Tea Time guests and audience participants are responsible for using their good judgment and taking any action that relates to the discussion. The content brought forward may include discussions for some where they may be emotionally at risk. It is significant to know that this show is engaging in discussion forums only to offer inspire awareness and connection and is not providing therapeutical advice. If you have any questions about the disclaimer or the panel's discussion, you may freely contact me, Miss Liz, through my email at bookingmissliz@gmail.com. Moving forward, should you choose to voluntarily participate in today's show in any aspect, I myself, Miss Liz, welcomes you. And should you decide that this show is not made for you at this time, I respect those wishes and I will see you in all the other 400 shows. So you see how Miss Liz switched that up, because I can't say tune into another show because there is no other shows. So now a little bit on who's in the house. Well, I have Gwendolyn, Jasmine, and Alisha Rose in the house. And I'm going to give you a little bit on who these two incredible ladies are. So Gwendolyn is the author. Writing poetry has always been a personal way to process and express her feelings. As an educator, it is a privilege to meet incredible people with courageous stories. Her experiences, along with the stories shared by her family, friends, and students, inspired her poetry. She's dedicated this book to her family for their unwavering support and love, and to the loving parents for their encouragement to live wholeheartedly and pursue her goals. Alisa is the illustrator. She is a self-taught artist, passionate about art since childhood, finding inspiration in the breathtaking Rocky Mountains. Creative projects have always been her outlet, including construction, DIY home projects, interior design, photographing, drawing, and painting. Bringing these beautiful stories to life through the artwork fills her with joy, and she's grateful for the support of her family and friends. Together, Gwendolyn and Alyssa have woven a tapestry that celebrates the rich experiences of humanity. Gwendolyn's poignant I'm not saying that word right. Poetry captured the essence of each story, while Alisa, vibrant artwork breathes life into the pages. They invite readers to explore the profound beauty of human connection and resilience found within their heartfelt narratives. So let me get these ladies in here and let's spill some tea together. And I know I'm saying her name wrong, so I'm going to get her to say
Hi,
it.
hi, Miss
Welcome,
Liz.
ladies.
Thank you.
So help me out with your name, please. I don't mean to.
That's okay. It's Alisha.
Alisha. Ah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get my pom poms out and start playing. Yeah. So, ladies, let's get started a little bit. I'm gonna flop you all over. We're gonna go up and down today. We're gonna just go with the flow, right? So, I want to get to know a little bit of you guys before we get into the book. So, I'm gonna start with you, Gwendolyn. Uh, who were you as a little girl, and who are you now?
I was a little girl of immigrant parents. They immigrated to Canada in the mid 80s. So I grew up in a household of wonderful cultural traditions, Latinos, learning Spanish, learning English, surrounded by a lot of family. Um, a family that was extremely resilient, trying to make a life in a new country. Mom was working, dad was working and studying, trying to rebuild a life that they had previously in Nicaragua. My father's from Nicaragua, my mom's from Mexico, and really trying to embrace opportunities because my parents instilled in me from a very young age that we take our opportunities, we go to school, we learn, and we make something for ourselves. And that inspired me to be a teacher. Ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to be a teacher. I'd line up my teddy bears, my dolls, and have my little chalkboard and start teaching. So I always knew I wanted to be a teacher and definitely knew that I wanted to go to school and follow in my parents' footsteps of really reaping the opportunities that Canada has, especially for uh, education and career. And so I was a very simple little girl, loved to play, um, moved a lot. My family did move a lot because when you're trying to establish your life, you often find yourself moving quite a bit. So we ended up living in Alberta, we ended up living in British Columbia, and then we came back to Alberta. And eventually we ended up in a very small town, secluded in the mountains. And I was just devastated because I had just lived in Victoria, BC, surrounded by the ocean and beautiful flowers. And I went to this really small town, but it grew on me. It's a beautiful town. And I think the growing up in a small town, I was able to make meaningful, deep friendships with people and build community. And that was the best gift of moving to a small town. After I finished high school in the small town, I moved to the big city to go to school. And I've lived
Awesome.
in this city ever since. Yeah.
So, Alicia,
Yeah, Alisha. Yeah.
Alicia. Oh, I got it. There we go. Alicia, tell us who you were as a little girl and who you are now.
Well, I'm actually from the small town that she's talking about. I still reside in the mountains. I couldn't bring myself to leave it. Um, and I just really loved the sense of community. I never really wanted to leave. I have so many family members here, close friends here, and yeah, I've had a lot of meaningful relationships. And I was always interested in art when I was little. I mean, I live in a place that's very inspirational for that. A lot of muses around here. And yeah, I kind of fell out of it. Work comes into the way, life gets in the way. You kind of stop working on your art as much. And then with Gwen, she helped me get back into it. And it was a beautiful way to share stories, she said. Like, there's some stories that she got from people that were just some heart-wrenching stories, beautiful stories, different life experiences. And after reading all of those and getting to speak with some of those people, it was really cool to be a part of it. And I knew I wanted to get back into my art and share this with Gwen. So,
Well, that's
yeah.
how life works, right? Is you meet these people, like I've met you guys, and the journey begins, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it opens up the doors, and it opens up what we sometimes put in the back burner, right? Because we're just like, oh, well, I'll get to that later. But you came, Gwendolyn, to Alicia, Alyssa,
You call me Lish. That's easier.
Lish. Okay, I'll call
Yeah.
you Lish. That sounds good.
I get
So
everyone to
Gwendolyn,
call me that instead.
you found Lish, and Lish, and you guys put this beautiful thing together, right? This beautiful
Yeah.
book together, and the canvas of life, like the title of the book, just the title of the book itself, and the cover is inspiring, and it makes you want to grab a copy and check it out and all that. So tell us a little bit, Lish, about how the artwork came for the top, and then Gwen, I'll get into how you came with the title and how you put it all together.
Okay, the artwork for it was getting to hear these stories. You hear the way the people tell the stories, and you notice their trigger words. So they'll talk about, when they talk about aging, they really emphasize, oh, I have so many wrinkles and I have this. And you use those words to create something from that. You find the trigger words in their stories. And like making mountains out of molehills, or you have to climb this mountain. Each mountain that you're working on, you climb up. And so that's where I got the cover of the book from, is just each journey is like climbing a mountain. You get to that mountaintop, and so you find those trigger words that really inspire you to create something. So, yeah.
And you see how I made you all by yourself?
Yes. I see that. Okay.
I saw that.
And then
That's
we go
awesome.
like this. This is
Yes.
a flip flopping. We're having some fun today
Yes,
on
that's
the
awesome.
last tea time. So Gwendolyn, I'm going to do the same to you. I figured out how to pop you guys up as singles. So Gwen, I'm going to get you up and share a little bit on how you got the title and how it all came together.
Awesome. Well, the title of the book was the hardest part for us. It was the last thing we actually landed on. We had a lot of suggestions, and we were playing with a lot of words, and we struggled quite a bit. I think that was the hardest part. The last piece of the creating the cover and developing a title was challenging. I think we swirled in it for like a month trying to figure it out. And one of the things that we landed on was just going back to us, being more grounded. And the painting of the mountain is a mountain where Alisha lives and where I also grew up, where we both grew up. So it's home. So we thought that would be a great image to put on our book, because it is a visual representation of our home. It has a lot of heart and meaning to us. So we went with that. There's a lot of blue tones in the artwork, and I think that painting just speaks to Alisha's use of color and how much she loves color and blue. So that also felt like a no-brainer. Let's go with that. And canvas, Alisha paints on canvas. We felt like these stories were like a tapestry. We're weaving stories together, and everybody's story is, in essence, a picture, words that really evoke emotion. Perhaps it resonates with people. And we felt like, because we're painting on the canvas and the words are also creating those pictures and those feelings for people, we thought we would stick to what we do. So we called it the canvas of life, because we tell life stories. Yeah.
I love it. And I love that you put the painting in there, and painting, it's like paint by number, right? All the numbers come together and it makes a beautiful artwork. Lish, how old were you when you started doing your artwork?
Oh, I have some paintings from when I was like 6 years old. I started doing it. And at first it was just like deer and, like little mountains, trees, something simple, right? And they were kids' drawings, mind you. They weren't any Picassos going on. But yeah, I've been doing it since I was very little. And it wasn't until I got more to being an adult, I kind of took a break from it. In my late teen years, it wasn't as cool for me to just be sitting in my room coloring all the time, and then working. But I got back to it about 5 years ago when COVID hit and everyone was stuck at home, and I got right back into my painting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And we have a tea time guest in the house as well, Shadow God. He was on season 1, and he's also the voice of the opening of Miss Liz. So if you want anything, check him out as well. You know, he has been the voice for the 5 years of Miss Liz. So check that out as well. And I really want to thank
No.
him for tuning in and joining and supporting fellow tea time guests, because that's what it's all about on tea time. Um, so Gwendolyn, I want to get into the tea.
Sure.
And Liz, I want to get your version of the tea, because sometimes the same words mean different things for different individuals, right? So the tea that you guys gave
Yeah.
me was transforming experiences artistically. So Gwen, tell us what that means to you for your tea, and then Liz, tell me what that means for your tea.
Yeah, transforming experiences artistically is really about bringing two forms, art forms, poetry and art, and transforming it in a way where it allows the reader, it allows the person that's going through the book to really experience it in their own way. How they transform it, how they interpret it is really personal to everybody. Not every poem speaks the same for everybody. Not every piece of artwork will evoke the same emotion or tell the same story. So we were really trying to do something different in the sense of create art and poetry and put it together so it harmoniously tells a story. And we were hoping that people would land on the story we were trying to tell, but if they didn't, that's okay. If your interpretation is different, that's okay. Right? It's ever changing. Everybody's interpretation will be different. But my hope is that what you get out of it, if it's a deeper sense of understanding, if it's reflection, if it's empathy, I feel like that's where that transformation comes from. It changes us a little bit. Every time we connect, we change a little bit. And so for us, we were really trying to bring that transformation and that connection within people and also within themselves through art and poetry. And I do see poetry as a form of art. So that's what it means to me. Just trying to really help people navigate through this in their own way. And that's okay, because we're all different and we'll all interpret poetry and art differently. I just wanted it to be a little bit easier, more harmonious for people to interpret art and poetry, because one of the things I struggled with growing up is I struggled at interpreting poetry. Right? I read a poem sometimes and be like, I'm not too sure what that
Yeah,
means.
what does that
Right?
mean, right?
Right.
Where
And
were they when they wrote this? Like,
I know. And
yeah.
also with art, sometimes people really don't see the meaning behind it, or they really don't understand the artist's intention. And so with this, we were trying to be a bit more transparent and hopefully create a sense of understanding. But again, we're open. Everybody's interpretation is open. As long as you're open to the what you feel, and if it means something to you, it's 100% correct. Yeah.
Mhm. So Liz, what was it for you with those 3 words?
Um, so everyone has their own life experiences and they're all vastly different from each other. And the way someone could have the same experience as somebody else, but they both take away from that experience different things. So it is all in the eye of the beholder. And so we thought putting this on paper gives those experiences a voice, gives it something to tell their story. But at the same time, if your experience was a little bit different, it transformed this experience to be more generalized, that if yours was different, you'd also resonate with that and you can see it in your way that helps you. through your experience and helps you empathize with theirs. So I think it was a nice way to transform one experience into one that everyone can see and connect with.
And I find that the three words are like a perfect cup of tea, right? They just flow together, especially with the cover of the book and the title of the book and the journey of the friendship. Let's get into the friendship a little bit because we don't talk about friendships in today's world, right? We're just like, oh, that's my friend. Oh, that's my friend. Everybody's a friend, but nobody talks about friendship. There's a big difference, guys. So let's talk about the friendship on and the journey of your friendship because that's part of the journey of the canvas of life as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, our families are very close. My mom ran a day home. She took care of children in the small town where we grew up. And so Alisha and my little sister were in the same day home along with her brothers. And my mom, being this amazing, loving, nurturing woman, she took care of these kids like they are her own. She loves Alisha and her brothers. And so she was like family. She was integrated into our family. She was always hanging around. I'm really good friends with my sister. I'm really good friends with Alisha. You know, even though I was a little bit older, we all kind of just were
Well, I was the
together.
annoying child at first.
Yes,
and
she
then
was
I was
kind
a
of.
friend afterwards. Yeah.
Yes. She did
But
touch
that's
a
the
lot of
best
my
friendships,
stuff.
right?
Yeah.
Her and my sister would touch all my makeup and my stuff. But just like really good kids, you know, we were just a group of kids that, you know, we weren't always following the popular crowds. Not, you know, neither of us. We were always very true to our values, to our morals, and really doing what's right and kind. You know, we were all kind children, and so we found ourselves and we found each other, and we became really good friends. Our families became good friends because the Alisha's family really trusted and respected my mom and my dad for taking good care of their kids. And so, yeah, it became a love of taco locos, you know,
Oh, yeah.
my mom's homemade tortillas, you know. So eating traditional Mexican food, we had a lot of fun. And coming from a small town, there's not a lot to do, right? We don't have like a big shopping mall, big shopping centers. So a lot of the things we did were in community, right, at home with each other, going, you know, to the Canada Day celebrations together, doing all of the little community celebrations together. And so we were very close growing up, very, very close. Yeah. And I think that friendship is hard to find. They can be very hard to find. Yeah. But we were lucky enough to find each other. And then as we started, you know, because we live in separate cities, I live in a city, she lives in a town, we reconnected through creativity, right? COVID hit, we were all, you know, going through the motions. I was behind a screen all day long teaching, finding myself very frustrated, quite a bit of anxiety in those moments. And I needed a refuge. So I started to write poetry more. And I've always championed Alisha because she's a great artist, truly. You know, she's so humble about it, but she's a really talented artist. And I said, hey, Alisha, like, what if you paint something that tells this story? Like it's a harmonious storytelling piece. And she was like, sure, because anything creative, Alisha's on board. So she started, and it was very organic. It just kept going. And we did another one, and we kept working on it. And that's what good friends do. You know, she encouraged me to keep writing, and I encouraged her to keep painting. And so it's this back and forth of encouragement. By the end of it, I don't even know how we got to where we got to publishing the book, but I think it was both of us.
Yeah.
Pushing each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah, to do it.
So, Lish, tell us a little bit about your friendship besides being the annoying little sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. her younger sister and I were still best friends, and we were inseparable. And I was always over at their house, and I really do feel like part of the family. And my family feels like part of the family. Like we're all just so comfortable with each other, and I really loved having that relationship. And even as we got older, we stayed friends. And after 7 years, you're friends for life. So I think 30 years in, I think we're good. We're going to be friends for life at this point. And um, with them moving out of town, it was harder. And then when COVID hit, you weren't able to leave anywhere and visit anyone. And it was really difficult not to get to see those guys and see the family and see their kids and stuff. And this gave us a chance to get to communicate and talk more and interact with each other, and while also doing something that was really fun at the time and inspirational. And yeah, it really helped the friendship too. I think it made us closer because we had to really trust each other with this process. It was very vulnerable to show her poetry to me, the very vulnerable poems, and then me showing my artwork in public was also very difficult. So it was her helping me get through that anxiety of showing people publicly that I actually like to paint. So yeah, it really helped keeping us close together during those times.
And that's the things we don't talk about, right? What COVID did to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the disconnect, the isolation, and that. But we found different ways, and beautiful projects like this came about through COVID. And those are the things that we should be talking about, not all of the heavy stuff, right? Talk about the
Yeah.
beautiful stuff that came together, all the projects and programs and podcasts that came together. Uh, had it not been for COVID, I wouldn't have met half of the people that I've met through podcasting, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing how tragedy brings people together, and how it
Mhm.
forms a life canvas, right? It brings
Mm-hmm.
the canvas together, and it's like that dot to dot and connection. And that's what I said to Gwendolyn, like, the universe sent you to me, because like I was like, no, I'm done. That was it. Thursday was the last show, and then I was like, no, tell me a little bit about the book. Tell me a little bit about who you guys are. And I was like, no, the universe is saying one more tea time for you, Miss Liz. So I was just like really honored to have you guys. And like I told Gwendolyn, it's a very hard day for me, because it's also my daughter's anniversary for her birthday. As many people know, she was stillborn, and it is a journey. So she didn't have that life, right? And you guys came to me with the canvas of life. So it was just like you gave her life. It all came to be a beautiful picture. And I want people to understand and I found this on the site where your book is, and it says, you don't simply leave your mark at a grave. It is engraved in the hearts of others. It's like touching moonlight, the shimmering in your eyes, a glowing wonder, a billion fireflies. Is that one of your poems, Gwendolyn?
Yeah, yeah. One of the poems that you just spoke about is called Markings. Yeah,
Hmm.
and that's it is a poem about passing, about someone passing away, and how that person stays in our life. Their presence stays with us forever. And I truly believe that. I'll read the poem for you in its entirety here. Markings. You don't simply leave your mark at a grave. It is engraved in the hearts of others, nurturing the world through the roots of good deeds. It is gritty memory that comes alive in lived dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I say you guys were sent to me through the universe, because my daughter, didn't have a life. And you brought her to life today by bringing your book to my table and bringing it to my audience and my listeners. For everybody out there, life is precious. You know,
Yes.
let's really remember the little things. Let's really remember the beautiful artwork of life, and the mountains and nature, and that's what I really loved about the cover of the book, was the mountaintop, right? Because where do we go to when we want to release the pain? We go to the mountaintop. So it really speaks loud. Like, your book is amazing. For my listeners and viewers out there, I want you to check out this book. I want you to check out these amazing ladies. And I want you to listen to the messages that the universe is sending us, that sometimes we are like, why me? What is this? you know, because I have had those moments in the last 5 years. Why me? Why am I to serve this tea? You know, and it was never about me. It was about the tea. It was about the connections and the journeys and the canvas put together to make this beautiful masterpiece. So I really want to thank you, ladies, for that. I want to thank all of the listeners out there. You know, there's a reason why things happen in life. So, Lish, I want to talk to you about your artwork. Out of
Yeah.
all the artwork in the book, what was the one that was the one that really touched you and gave you that challenge of, I got to do this?
Um, there was a few challenging pieces for me. But the one that touched me the most was one of the most simple ones, I guess, because it was about a kidney donation. And it was between two brothers, and it was actually my family that went through it. And it was one on the receiving end and one donating the kidney, and how they both felt through that journey. And it was a really long journey for my family and trying. And it was a very beautiful, successful story. And so I really wanted to do that justice. Yes, there. It is one of the most simple paintings, but that one I wanted to be special for them. So I think that one was the hardest one emotionally for me to do. And yeah, and when it comes to, sorry, I'm gonna cry because
That's no, don't be sorry. Tears are welcome at this table.
It went very well, and things are really good now. But it was a journey, and I'm really happy to have had that with my family and able to put that in the book. It's such a positive. For me, this one would probably be one of the hardest as well, because there was also so much emotion for me in this painting. It's about abuse and escaping the abuse, and coming free from it, and still keeping yourself and your purity and you afterward. So that one was a very emotional one for me as well. But, yes.
And Gwendolyn, what poem was the one that really tugged at your heart and it was like, I got to get this in the book?
The painting she had just showed you, the one about abuse, that one was a poem I had to write about. It's about child sexual abuse, and I needed to speak to it. I needed to give a voice to the woman who was that child, a voice to that person who had their innocence broken. I had to speak. I had to give that voice. There are so many people that experience some form of abuse, and we need to come together collectively and create space where we can talk about it, because we need to get rid of the shame and the guilt. There's no space for that anymore. And this poem is close to me. It's close to my heart because it's somebody that I know well. And I just had to write it for them because I love this person with all my heart. And when I wrote the poem, it's called False Guardian. I was unsettled because I felt like it wasn't finished. It didn't fully tell the story. So then I wrote another poem called I Am Love. So then Alisha's painting is called False Guardian, I Am Love. And so a lot of people who, abusers typically are, the perpetrators are people that are known to children. That's why I called it False Guardian. And I wanted to end with this person because they are strong and have overcome so much of this trauma, because it is trauma. It causes a lot of traumatization in children, and if it's not dealt with, it can continue into adulthood. And so this poem was really hard for me to write, but in that vulnerability, I feel that we are giving this book purpose, right?
Mhm.
We're allowing people to feel it and to not be ashamed and to connect with a story because perhaps it relates to a story that they have experienced something. And you are greater than your experiences. I just want to tell everybody out there, if I can say one thing about abuse, you are greater than your experiences. And that is why I ended that poem, or I followed up that poem with the poem I Am Love, because
I,
you're
I,
so much greater than that.
I like how the two of you put the artwork and words together for such a topic we should be talking about. I've said this for years. It ain't stranger danger, guys. It's family danger. It's friend danger.
Mhm.
It's right in your own home sometimes, right in your face, and you're turning a blind eye to it. Right? I'm a survivor of child abuse from family, and for years my family all knew about it, but it was hush, right? What happens behind closed
Mhm.
doors, or that person just loves you in an extra special way, or you know this book is going to open up so many doors and so many ways of people to connect and share their stories. uh,
Mhm.
so by launching your book and sharing your book, and if anybody would like to grab a book, the link is I have it on the screen for all the video watchers, and the audio listeners. I will put that in the description for you to grab your copies and that as well. Um, but have you had anybody reach out to you who has bought the book and said thank you for this book?
Yes, there's been a few people that have come up to us, and recently we had somebody who their son and husband had a kidney donation and reached out to us and said how important this was to them and how it made them feel. And yeah, we've had quite a few people who've resonated, who've had children, and they reach out about the poetry, about what it is to bring life into the world and have that. And yeah, we've had a lot of positive responses, I think, from
Yeah.
people, and resonating it in their own way. They find their own meaning to it. So I
Mhm.
like hearing that too, is how they took the story and made it fit themselves, right, in their own way. So
Yeah.
I really think that it's different, and I love different. Everybody knows Mrs. loves different, and thank you guys for doing this and putting this book together and that. So, do you guys have any plans of writing a second book?
We do. We're working on it right now.
there's no
And
shortage
so,
of human experience, right?
yeah,
So
yeah, because
there's a
in
lot
our
more
book
stories to tell.
we have themes of spirituality, courage, gratitude, bringing life into the world, themes of passing, themes of abuse, the recipient and givers of donation. So there's a quite a few stories, but we also want to touch on other stories. And so right now we're working on poetry on the medical illness of depression, right? Somebody who's medically diagnosed with depression. Um, we want to tell the stories of our RCMP, our first responders, what their experience is like behind the badge. Um, so, and these are people, which is awesome, Miss Liz, that are coming to us to
Yes.
say, we want to talk. We want you to listen to our story. And that is just amazing because I think within their own little circles, it creates community because they get together to come and talk to us. And
Yeah.
so through that conversation, you can find out so much more about people, right?
Mhm.
You know, having these like tea time conversations as opposed to going to a meeting with like defined minutes and this is what we're going to talk about, right?
I
Let
don't
it
do
give
well
it.
with that. I kind of
I know.
zone out.
I
Yeah.
don't either. I always get off topic in meetings, and I'm
Yeah,
so
I'm too
glad.
scatterbrained to focus on the
I start
topic.
doodling and doing dots on a page, and then I'm like, oh, we got this.
I go,
Then they'll
it's
be
like,
asking me, what?
Yeah.
But it just creates that space and that opportunity to just be a little bit more open and organic and natural with your conversation. But again, we have to create communities of trust,
Yeah.
right? Communities of trust. And that's what Alicia and I try to do. And we don't expect it. We earn it. We earn this. And we do it by showing up for people. If you want to talk about the book with me over coffee, I'll meet you. We'll talk, we'll get to know each other. It's not a transactional thing for me. Like, it's transformative. I want this to be meaningful and create some change for you or for your family at some level. This woman who has this painting in her home, it means the world to her because it shows the experience of her husband and her son going through the donation journey. And she feels like it shows the experience and it's an honorable experience. And so she's kind of changing the way she's wrapping her brain around this. This isn't tragic. This was hard, but we can celebrate it. We can celebrate it.
Absolutely.
And when people come to her house, she can celebrate the story with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
And I believe that storytelling and artwork and community, building that trust, right? Because you got to build that trust. I always tell people,
Mhm.
don't come to me and ask me for something and I don't even know who you are. Let's talk a little bit. Let's get to know each other.
Yes.
It's just like when you came to me, Gwen, I was like, tell me a little bit about your book. Tell me a little bit of who you are. I'm not just booking people. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I've done a couple of those and I'm just like, oh, what the heck is this? What am I doing? But there are listeners out there that understand what the heck am I doing? you know uh, but it takes time to build that trust, and in today's society trust is a big thing, right? Because we're being lied to, we're being programmed, we're being told how to think, who to be, all of that stuff, instead of just accepting ourselves for who we are. And that's what tea time is just accepting people for who they are, whether you understand it or not. Sometimes you just get these cups and you're just like, what is this you know but there's that listener out there that will say, Miss Liz, thank you for that tea time. Even though you didn't get it, I got it,
Mhm.
and that's what we need to start doing, is just start listening, start talking, having these conversations. And art, again, bring art to the table. Art is number one way of learning and educating ourselves, expressing ourselves. So I want to get into colors, guys. I want to.
Oh, I love colors. Love them.
Lish
Mhm.
is Lish is blue and Gwen is purple. So, right? Do I have it right? Yes, I have it right.
Mhm.
I have notes, guys. uh, and Lish, the mountain is blue, and the book is blue. So I kind of figured that, that yours was
I like
blue.
blue a little bit.
So let's get into the blue a little bit, and then we're going to jump into the purple.
Yeah. For me, I find I love the use of colors. That's one thing. The artwork will change throughout the book. It is not very consistent, right? I don't have a style, but I will say I like color. Even the ones that have absence of color is very intentional. Um, but yes, I love the use of color. I think for me, blue is just, it reminds me of the mountains. It's calming, it's serene, and it reminds me of home. And I really love that color. Yeah. um, it's also ways I use to describe, like, with Mother Nature, and I don't know if you can see that or not.
Wow.
Yeah. And I love the use of blue to describe the beauty and calmness of everything. And, where's I have another blue one in here. Oh, here we go.
I
Again,
love that picture. I
yes.
I love that artwork so much, Lish. It speaks so much volume to me. When I seen it on TikTok, and you check these guys on TikTok too, guys. Um, I was just like, oh my God, they're speaking to my heart. Like, It's just beautiful. I know you guys can't see me, but you guys can hear me, and I want to showcase the girls. I want to really highlight these beautiful ladies. So, Lish, thank you for your beautiful artwork, and bringing blue and the calmness of life, because life
Mhm.
sometimes gets hectic, right? So I'm gonna
Yes.
pop up Gwen and get Gwen to tell me why she likes purple. So let me get you up
Oh,
there, Gwen. Pop you up and
perfect.
share your purple.
My purple. I've always loved purple. I love purple. I love the cotton candy skies that you get sometimes with like a little bit of
Oh,
purple and red. It's a color I've always worn as a little girl. My backpack was always purple. Actually, currently my backpack is purple. Even as an adult teacher, I still have a purple backpack. Everybody knows it's Gwen's if it's purple. Um, um, I have an affiliation with early childhood. I've previously taught a childcare program. I love playful colors and I love the idea of mixing red and blue to get purple. It's so much fun. I've always thought the process of making purple so much fun. So it's always been a color that's near and dear to my heart. I think Alisha portrays the purples beautifully in this book. She did that with so much intention because she knows I love it. She did my poem
wow.
Courage, and she did some hues of purple in there, which I absolutely love. She did such a great job. Yeah, I just think it's a very playful color. It's always been a color I've good feelings associated with it, especially from childhood. My mom always buying me my purple Lion King backpack or Aladdin backpack, always purple. and and it's a color that truly is speaks to me. It's a little funky, you're mixing colors, it's fun, it's playful. That's why I like purple. And there's lots of different hues of purple. And I find also purple, I know for some people it could be a bit dysregulating, but for me, purple is quite calming, especially the lighter hues of purple.
Yeah, like lavender.
Yeah, find it very calming. Hmm.
Well, see, you have something in common again with even with the colors, right? The purple and blue are both calming colors, and oh my God, the artwork is amazing. And you guys are only getting that on Miss Liz's Tea Time. You're getting some insight of this book. You're getting some of the pictures. So go and grab yourself a copy. So Christmas time, it's a time of some people have hard times, and I think the canvas of life is going to lighten it up a little bit. Some of the poems and pictures and that represent hard times. And I think hard times need to be talked about more because we talk about the good stuff all the time, but we forget about the hard times that actually make us who we are and make us give us our strength, right? Um, if I hadn't had hard times in my life, I would not be where I am today, and you ladies would not be where you are today had it not been for those hard times. So I do want to get into your words because the words that you gave me as well, Gwen, you gave me compassionate, and Lish, you gave me empathetic.
Yes.
And so tell me a little bit about those words, and we'll see who goes first.
Okay. Actually, I'll speak for Gwen. I think for Gwen being compassionate, um, is because she had the idea to speak with all these people and get these stories from them and sit with them and have tea with them, go out for coffee, tea, and just really has so much compassion in her. And she's a teacher as well. Um, she's just very compassionate about everything she does, whether it be with her students, her family, people she just met, and that just really shines through with her personality. So I think it's a perfect word to describe Gwen.
Oh, thank you, Alisha.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Alisha is the epitome of empathy. She feels with others. She she will hold space for you. She is an incredible friend. The most the friend that will anchor you, the friend that will have fun with you, that will take risks with you, champions you. And she truly has so much empathy for others that sometimes she will be a bit selfless to help other people. And she's been like this her whole life, so mature at a very young age, taking care of her family. And the empathy that she has reminds me of what we all should strive for in our life and give to the people that we care and love for, right? She is the most supportive person in the most quiet ways, and she can be the most supportive person in the loudest ways. And she knows how to figure it out. She has this way of discernment where she can figure out what you need. I think she's very in tune with people's feelings, very much so. And she's brilliant at it. And I think the two of us together having compassion and empathy was the perfect combination for creating a book with respect and to give stories justice, because we both come from a place of sincerity and integrity. Yeah.
I think that's what I really love about this book is the integrity, right? We talked about this, Gwen, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why Miss Liz is leaving the podcast world, because the integrity is being missed, right? We're not sharing our stories authentically anymore. We're just, oh, I want to be on it. I want to be here. I want to be here. I want to be here. Take the time to pause. And that's what tea time was, right? Pausing time. It was time of
Mm-hmm.
connecting. And like I've said many a times, Miss Liz is not leaving. I'm just going to open something different. Maybe there's something different than podcasting. To all the podcasters out there, and no disrespect, but start putting the heart back into it. Start putting the purpose back into it. Why did you start a
Yeah.
podcast? Was it just because you wanted to, or is it because you really wanted to make an impact? And I think that's what the canvas of life is. It's sharing hard stories and poetry and artwork, bringing topics to the table, having these conversations again, reading books that matter and make a difference, you know, and that's the purpose of life, is bringing back that empathy, bringing back that compassion for one another, the understanding, taking that moment to listen. uh
Mm-hmm.
you know um Again, I really want to thank you ladies for finding me, and for all of my viewers and supporters over the last 5 years, because without all of us connecting and taking that time to pause and taking that time for a cup of tea, not the beverage, but the tea of humanity, the tea of one another, because we can always make another beverage, we can always have another drink, but we can't have another life. So let's
Mm-hmm.
bring back the life. Let's bring back the connection. Let's bring back community. Uh, you know. So you guys said you're working on book two. So when is book two coming out? Do you guys have any plans for that? Or you're still in the works? Do I have
Still in the
any?
works. Trying to get
Yeah.
stories. We're working on speaking with people and broadening our stories as well. We There's some students of hers that are immigrants into Canada, and she's getting stories from them. We have stories from different different tribes. We've had stories from them. Like, we are trying to get stories from different groups of people to really broaden and show how many different experiences there are out there. And once we feel like we've had, I think, a sufficient amount of stories and we spoke with enough people, then we'll, I think, go into the publishing part. We are working on the poems and the artwork already, but we
Mm-hmm.
really love to fill out the stories.
So we have a couple
Yeah.
questions that have come in for you ladies. One question is, how long did it take you to write this book and to put it together?
From 2020 to about 2024, Alisha, was that right?
2023, I think. Oh, wait, we
20,
published it this year. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Took a
Took us
little
a
while.
it took us a while because a lot of processes were slow over the COVID time as well. And we actually didn't have a vision of publishing till, I would say, about a year and a half before it was published. The intention was to keep writing and to create the art, but we never really landed on publishing until we well, I'm so grateful for Alisha. She's the one who really gave the push. Like, let's just find a publisher and see what happens. And so we did it. We took a leap of faith and we decided to give it a try. But that it would have definitely gone faster if we would have started with that intention, but we didn't. But I'm
Mhm.
okay that we didn't, because I think it made the process for me especially, it took the pressure off,
Yeah.
right? I felt like I could do my best work without this outcome, this pressure of this needs to go
It's a more
here.
natural
Yeah.
journey
Mhm.
almost to get there.
I'm really
Yeah.
grateful that that wasn't the the goal from the beginning, because it really allowed us to just venture in different directions. And then we had to pull it all together. And that took us a while to figure out, okay, how are we going to start this book and how does it end? And
Mhm.
the feedback that I get is when you read it from front to back, the ending takes you right back to the beginning. It has a flow. And that flow was intentional. I thought about it for nights, trying to think
Yes.
about
Yeah.
the right the right flow, because although they are stories, I didn't want them to just be isolated stories. I wanted them to also build on each other
Mhm.
and
Be a
kind of
journey.
yeah, and the feelings transform a little bit as you read through it. Mhm.
I like
So
that the
yeah,
journey, right? Because it's like the mountaintop, right? You got to climb the mountain, so it's steps, right? You got to take those steps in life, and you can't
yeah,
just do it overnight, right? Like you got to take that time. It's like a cup of tea. You got to steep it if you want a really good cup of tea, right? You
hmm,
don't just put the
Yeah.
bag in and out, and let's go. Like if you want dirty water, well, yeah, you can, But it's the life journey of bringing it all together, right? Um, Shadow has offered he's open to composing some music for your stories as well. So if you're looking
hmm,
into doing something like that, um, and that's what Tea Time is about, right? Is working together, connecting together, and opening those doors, right? Bringing life to the stories. So
Yes, we would be interested for sure. Like having anyone, if you see this, please contact us. We'd love to hear your stories and share your experiences as well. Like, please connect. We love
yeah.
part of it and building the community bigger. So
And music is just another way to evoke emotion, tell the story in more
Mhm.
harmony. So thank you. That's amazing. That's amazing. I love collaborating. I'm a teacher. Of course, we love collaborating. I like working in groups.
Well, and that's
I
what it's
do.
all about, right? That's what tea time is all about. Is collaborating, connecting the dots, and everybody's like, Miss Liz, how do you do this? I don't know. The universe does the work for me, guys. I just got to put the hard work into it. I just got to do the searching and and looking into it and trying. If you don't try, you never know, right? If you girls hadn't tried, the book wouldn't be there, the artwork wouldn't be there. But you encourage each other to build through that friendship and build this beautiful book and build another beautiful book and you know I do believe that you girls are joining me on the 19th for the reunion show, the farewell thank you show. So again, another time to connect, network, and get to know the different flavors and blends that have come and sat on Tea Time. Because that's what it's all about. Is you might meet somebody that you would have never met had it not been for a cup of tea, and that's what it's all about. And I love doing the reunion shows because I love seeing people that I met 5 years ago that come back and say, "Hey, Miss Liz, I miss you. I want to come see you." Well, you're coming to see all the other people too, right? Because it's never been about Miss Liz. It's always been about my guests. And I love seeing the faces after so many years and that as well, and the new faces, and seeing you guys again in a week from now.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's the journey together. Um, I want to wrap it up. It is the last tea time. So I want you ladies, I'm going to spotlight you, share about the book, where they can get the book, all of that good stuff, and your final message for everybody into 2025.
okay.
So eeny,
Okay.
meeny, miny, mo, who's going first?
Sure. I'll go first. Yeah. So you can, if you're from Canada, you can get the book through Indigo. It's on the Indigo. You can also get it through Friesen Press. It is also on Amazon. You can also follow us on TikTok and Instagram, the dot canvas of life for Instagram. Please feel free to reach out on Instagram if you have any questions or would like to collaborate. For 2025, I leave you with joy, love, and happiness. I hope that this year is something that brings you joy and that you can connect with your family And truthfully, I really, really, really hope that throughout this new year, we all make resolutions, but to make a resolution, that means something very meaningful and true to you. And that's something that you want to do. So if you want to start writing, if you want to start painting again, if you want to start doing music, I encourage you to do something for yourself, because um, I truly believe that we can pour into other people's cup when our cup is full. So fill your cup for 2025.
Awesome message. Thank you so much for that, Gwen. Lish, I'm going to pop you up so that you can give your final messages.
So my final message is, I hope that you resonate with the book and see that your experience, you are not alone in it. If you're going through hard times, they will pass, and they do make you who you are. They build you into that stronger person. And to enjoy life, take those moments. If you paint, if you do poetry, any kind of art, or just walking, adventures, anything that you do to help you really take that time to enjoy it and take in those moments. And going into 2025, just be the best you can be. So,
I
thank you.
love that. And I want to thank everybody for joining us today on Tea Time, and thank you for 5 amazing seasons and years together. Thank you, ladies, for being the wrap up. I wouldn't want it any other way. And thank you for being here on my daughter's birthday. Two beautiful souls together. Check out their books, grab their books. For everybody that would like to see all of the guests that are coming, you got to tune in on the 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time till 9 p.m. We do have some entertainment as well. We have a tea time guest who will be singing some jazz. Freddie Zento Weaver, he was a tea time guest with his wife, Lisbeth Mirth, and he'll be doing some entertaining for us around 7:45 around. So you have to tune in if you really wanted to join that. We have guests that will be popping in and out. We also have some videos that Miss Liz has created for you to see. We have some videos of guests that can't make it because of different time zones, because Miss Liz has served over 72 different countries in 5 years. So some of those time zones, it's in the middle of the night. So they are sending videos on. So we'll be sharing those as well. Also, stay tuned because Miss Liz is not leaving you guys. I am only leaving the podcast world. Miss Liz is going to be creating other things and other avenues for my guests, for my listeners, and for my supporters out there. I think it's time for a switch. I think it's time for a flip flop, as I call it. And Gwen, thank you for saying that, serve a full cup of tea, because Miss Liz is not a full cup of tea right now. And that's why Miss Liz needs to get a full cup. So I will be back in 2025. You just never know where I'm going to pop up. I might pop up in your community, your country, your door. You just never know where Miss Liz is going to come next.
We're always welcome here. So
Absolutely. And I've been down at that area a few years ago, and maybe I need to go back that way. We just never know, right, what 2025 is going to bring us. But for all of my listeners, supporters, and guests out there, keep being true to yourselves. Keep serving your teas, not the beverage, but the teas within yourselves. For all of the guests who shared their TEAs with Miss Liz over the last 5 years, thank you for that. For all of you that switched it up and gave me a different tea with different words and all that, thank you for your uniqueness, because without your uniqueness, we could not do this. Miss Liz is a little sad, but a little excited to see what we're going to do next. So I want to thank everybody for all of your support over the years. Again, thank you to these beautiful ladies. Check them out. Check out their book. Stay tuned for their update on their new book. And if you'd like to collaborate or connect with the ladies, you're more than welcome to. If you'd like to connect and collaborate with any of my guests, reach out to Miss Liz at my email at bookingmissliz@gmail.com, or check out my website at www.misslizsteatime.com, and you'll get to see some of the other stuff that Miss Liz hasn't been watering because I've been too busy with podcasting. So we need to start watering those branches. So until then, I will see everybody on next Thursday, the 19th. And then it will be farewell for a while. And you just never know. Farewells are not goodbyes. That's why I don't use the word goodbye. I use the word farewell for this. because I'm not done with you guys yet. I'm still here. I'm just taking a farewell to get well. So thank you all for that, and thank you for all of the guests. And again, huge shout out to all the collaborators, supporters, publicists, medias that I've worked with over the last 5 years. I could not do this without all of you guys. There's so many that I can't mention you all, but you all know who you are. So thank you for that. Um, and let's stay true to ourselves and keep serving tea, because that's what Miss Liz is going to do. I'm going to serve you a real raw tea in 2025. So till then, I'll see you Thursday, December 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll wrap it all up and make a beautiful canvas of light out of everything. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.